You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. But let's take a close look at the spec list. So first of all, it comes with EmuElec 4.3. So the emulation, we do have the support for PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 1 and N64. Particularly PlayStation Portable and N64 is what we're going to test out. Quad-core Cortex A7 all the way up to 1.2 GHz, 2 gigs of RAM, 64 GB of storage, and the display is a 4.3 inch with a resolution of 480 by 272 IPS. And the battery is only 2000 milliamps. But let's take a close look at the device itself. I was really curious about the overall build quality. So I do get myself a Nintendo Switch Lite version idea feeling of it. But let's take a closer look. So first of all, when you're looking at the form factor and the weight, it does have a very nice weight to it. Not like the cheap weight. So here we're going to have the handheld itself. So the ABXY button, they feel quite nice to be honest. So the overall quality, the touch, it's not bad at all. The joysticks are looking like a Nintendo Switch, but they don't have the click. We're going to get select start over here, and here we're going to get the plus or minus, or in other words function keys. So, and also the D-pad. The D-pad has been placed, in my opinion, in the wrong position. I really love to have it over here, because I mostly play with the D-pad. But how about the D-pad? Let's talk about it. So first of all, I want to try out a fighting game. And to my surprise, it's absolutely amazing. It's for the cheap devices that I've played over the years, maybe one of the best D-pads that I've ever played. I can tell you that they surprised me by this. But the feel itself is quite nice. Then we're having the shoulder buttons with these tiny devices. I don't find it really comfortable to play, for example with fighting games. Both have the click. The same goes with the triggers. On off switch, they're going to get the micro SD card. It's an, okay, I've never seen this brand before, CHPS, but I hope it's going to be at least a little bit of decent, because all of the freaking SD cards are going to get corrupted nowadays. For connectivity, we're going to get ourselves the Type-C for charging, very happy that they chose for this, and then we're going to get ourselves the jack out. At the bottom part there is nothing, only at the back we're going to get, a mono speaker. So something we don't need to forget is of course the toilet paper manual. And it's absolutely one of those manuals that there have some information implemented in this, but there was nothing special to say. Just a quick explanation how everything works, in my opinion it states the obvious. Including some specification lists that we already mentioned before. And then of course we're going to get a very long, nice Type-C cable for charging. But there is no charger, you need to buy it separately. But let's power it on together. Here we're going to have a tiny LED that shows the indication of how the battery is charged, or it's still full, or if it's going to be becoming empty. A quick reminder. The only thing I already mentioned is that we do have a thick bezel, but I do find myself annoyed about the M17 in the meantime. Loading up EmuElec, I think it's pretty damn cool. One of my favorite programs, also used on Android boxes. But let's take a close look at the EmuElec software. So first of all, some of you are following me here on the channel. You know, that's the same stuff that we have got with the Android boxes, but I really love how it looks. It's very fancy, very clear, and when it comes to the support of different platforms, it's absolutely nuts. So pressing the right joystick, or at least up and down, here we're having the special functions like the quick search, and I can tell you it works very well. Next up we can go into the game list by pressing down over here, or we can just use A and B for navigating. Here we're going to choose the different kind of game. Most of them will have a tiny screenshot. They did an amazing job over there. So if we're having the start in the main menu, we can change the backlight if you want to. I already set to 100. System settings, information. Here we can choose what kind of information, but there's nothing else. You can basically restore the default settings, and that's the only thing that we can do. So when booting up the device itself, it will give you the big loading. That's it. After some time we will get into the EmuElec software. When it's going to be loading in the EmuElec, also there we're going to get a very long wait time. It is of course depending how big your SD card is, but still I've noticed it takes up a long time to load. Pressing select and start at the same time will give you the extra menu option where we can make a quick load, quick save, and we can just choose our option. But the only thing is, we don't have an option to make a save slot, so we only have one for each game. And this way we can return to the main menu. But at the back we're going to have only one speaker, and I find it absolutely bummer, but it does sound quite nice. Well, we already talked about the IPS panel. I must say, seeing it now is absolutely great. It's just cool to see a cheap device that actually comes with a decent display. Take consideration the front glass they are using is very cheap, so it will be scratch sensitive. But when you're looking at the display, this makes it really worth it. And that is one of the cool features of this very cheap device. While booting up the system, already giving me the notification that it's going to be running with choppy audio. Oh yeah, so they didn't even use the English game at this point. So PlayStation Portable, you know, it's going to be absolutely a mixed performance. And if getting into the gameplay, you can see we do have an overall okay performance. So it's crazy to see that we're going to have like budget devices that can run PlayStation Portable. And I'm getting my ass kicked. For PlayStation Portable, I just wanted to check out some other games to see if we're going to get good performance. Where Darius Boost is not that demanding like Tekken 5 or 6. This runs pretty great. I'm quite flabbergasted by the overall quality of one single speaker. Think about if you would add two of them. Well, personally, I can really enjoy myself. Pressing the select and start will give you the famous option over here. But that's it. You can make quick load, quick save. That's kind of cool. But again, it's when it comes to the interface, it's just an easy to use program or piece of equipment and software. Well, let's dive into the PlayStation 1 emulation, where we have a gazillion devices that can actually play PlayStation 1. I don't expect any issues whatsoever. Let's crank up the sound. Oh yeah, ooga booga. But it's one of those systems that run without any problem, and I think it's pretty damn cool. But what is interesting, we do have the disk control option in this thing. Now that is something new. And here we can change out disk index, disk cycle tray status, and the disk image append. So that's interesting, and I'm guessing this is more if you have multiple disk games. I'm actually quite surprised with the overall quality, particularly when you're looking at the money you're paying for it. There are so many solutions out there, but when you're looking at the budget, this thing is pretty damn good. When it comes to the interface and everything, there is basically not a lot to complain here. Nevertheless, let me know in the comments what do you think of this. Do you think it's worth it and replacing other devices in your collection? Thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell.